ready, Jax?
Since 1993.
And you still got it.
Welcome to another episode of Untold Legends, where we explore the stories found within the worlds of video games, movies, comics, and anything in between. Last time in the Mortal Kombat Timeline lore series, I detailed the story of three combatants: the Street Fighter knockoff Cobra, the bloodthirsty Kira, and Kabal, an ex-Black Dragon gifted with super speed. We covered their origins, history throughout the series, and Kabal's flip-flopping allegiances until his ultimate fall into darkness.
Jax Briggs, we were partners under Quan Chi's command. You'll join me again.
Today I'll be covering one of the series' classic characters, Major Jackson Briggs, otherwise known as Jax. A character that's been depicted as an unstoppable badass, as well as a man that suffered through tragedy and still emerged a hero, as well as being one of the very few combatants to have his very own game, for better or for worse. This video is brought to you by my Patreon. If you'd like to support my work directly, there's multiple levels of support available, or for an option right here on YouTube, you can also become a channel member and gain access to exclusive badges, emojis for live streams, and exclusive polls deciding what games will be streamed in the future. Every dollar helps keep the wheels turning, and I'd like to thank my current patrons and channel members for their continued support. Much like other classic characters in the series, Jax wasn't always known by the final name given to him. He was originally known as Curtis Stryker in the very first Mortal Kombat game, which of course actually became a character in Mortal Kombat 3. This Curtis Stryker was planned to be a man of law, hunting Kano down to Shang Tsung's island and finding himself captured. But the development team decided to have a female combatant, and Curtis Stryker's storyline was given to Sonya Blade. During development of its sequel, Mortal Kombat 2, Curtis Stryker evolved into the character of Major Jackson Briggs. Being that the creators had a deep love of pop culture and comic books, the source of inspiration behind Jax was none other than a physically imposing and powerful black superhero from Marvel Comics, Power Man, known more widely as Luke Cage, and the similarities are obvious, even in his early look. Jax went through several physical changes before his final look was settled. First, he was a kickboxer wearing shorts and a headband, but that concept was axed to avoid Street Fighter comparisons. Then he was given a yellow uniform and metal over his forearms and fists. This look was actually used, and bodybuilder John Parrish was the actor digitized as Jax. Footage with this look was shot over 2 days, but was dropped when the developers decided that it made Jax look smaller. Ironically enough, he also split those pants during filming. Ultimately, Jax's final look was much more regular. He simply became a shirtless man with tight pants, and made his debut in Mortal Kombat 2.
Jax.
Speaking of the actor that played Jax, John Parrish, I actually discovered something hilarious in the production of this video. He actually appeared in an episode of Jerry Springer attempting to steal another man's woman. Mind-blowing.
Tiana thinks that Shauna, you shouldn't be with Keith. You should meet somebody like this. His name is John. Bring him on out, John.
If you love this woman, you don't call her by no other name but her name.
Thank you.
This is your woman. Supposed to be. But when the show's over, she'll be my woman.
Gotcha!
Flawless victory.
After Mortal Kombat 2, Jax's design really separated him from being a shirtless strongman into something a bit more unique, giving him metal arms, which continued as the series went on and made fans question, were his arms replaced or are these sort of cybernetic covers that he can take on and off? And the answer is kinda both. In the original timeline, they were enhancements that he wore over his arms, hence why in Special Forces, his first chronological appearance, he has them on, although the game failed to explain that due to its incredibly messy production, while later in the series he replaces his arms altogether, and in the alternate timeline they're full-blown replacements due to an injury he suffers. Jax's metal arms are his most unique, recognizable feature, and increase his strength to ridiculous levels, using them to annihilate his enemies.
This is the last time, Kano.
Your daughter's sure gonna miss you.
And strangely enough, during the Mortal Kombat 3 and Trilogy era, games filled with over-the-top goofy fatalities that made no sense, they can also shapeshift T-1000 style. Since his first appearance, Jax has become one of the staples of the Mortal Kombat series, and a fan favorite made very clear by the sheer amount of requests I constantly receive to finally cover him. And outside the games, he's appeared in a ton of Mortal Kombat media. He had a small, often forgotten part in the original Mortal Kombat movie alongside Sonya Blade following Kano's trail, and trying to stop her from boarding the boat, really only appearing in the beginning of the movie.
Sonya, don't get on that thing. Hey, Sonya!
Also, the original movie misspells his name as Jax, J-A-X-X, in the credits. There's supposed to be only one X in there. And in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Jax finally got time to shine, this time played by American Gladiator Lynn Williams. In this version, Jax appeared with the cybernetic arm covers, which he used to take on Motaro, and after receiving a beatdown, he takes them off and beats Motaro, using the magical power of believing in himself.
It's over.
His live-action history behind the scenes is really interesting because he was almost played by Michael J. White, which would have been perfect casting, but he turned down the Jax role in order to play Mike Tyson in the 1995 HBO movie called Tyson. Again, he was going to play Jax in the sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but dropped out after being cast as the comic book superhero Spawn in his very own movie. It seemed Michael J. White was never going to play Jax, but he finally got the chance in the Mortal Kombat Rebirth short film, attempting to be kind of a realistic, gritty reboot of the series, and again in the Mortal Kombat Legacy web series as a tough-as-nails police captain taking on Kano. But more recently, in the 2021 live-action Mortal Kombat reboot, Jax is being played by Makad Brooks. He's the tall, thin Jimmy Olsen from CW Supergirl, but man, he bulked up for the role. He is a tank now. He is Jax. Although Jax had plenty of live-action appearances that have established him as a grade A badass, his animated appearance as a regular character in the Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm children's series, it's kind of the opposite. Poor Jax. It is brutal.
No, kick higher, girl. You gotta keep him off guard.
Something like that, blubberbutt?
Hey, don't you ever call me that. When I was a kid, 8, 9 years old, I was fat. I don't mean just a little pudgy either. I'm talking fat, like the fattest kid in school.
That's big.
I'm sick of following that mud around.
Yeah. And you've got a better idea, blubberbutt? Are you coming or not?
I'm riding with Nightwolf.
Oh, shut up, Jax.
Oh, is that right, blubberbutt?
That's fresh, coming from a loser who gets her partner killed.
Quick, everyone, over here.
Say, did you guys know that Jax was the fattest kid in school?
I told you never.
But how does Jax fit into the overall Mortal Kombat universe? His story begins way before the events of the original Mortal Kombat. Major Jackson Briggs became part of the United States Special Forces, an elite military force created to take on international crime gangs. During his time in the service, he developed a close friendship with Lieutenant Sonya Blade and became her commanding officer. Together, they made it their priority to bring the Black Dragon and Red Dragon clans to justice. And although Kano is seen by many to be Sonya's rival, he's every bit as much of a rival rival to Jax. During one of their early encounters, Jax and his team tracked down Kano, and during a confrontation with Jax, Kano escaped, but was left with a massive injury to his eye, resulting in a cybernetic implant. Many of Kano's Black Dragon thugs were taken into custody, and the recovered Kano led a breakout that freed them from the Special Forces prison, leading to the events of Mortal Kombat Special Forces. Kano and his Black Dragon crew successfully escaped, but were pinned down in an abandoned warehouse where a group of Special Forces soldiers waited outside. Jax was called in by the Special Forces base operative Gemini for assistance. He equipped cybernetic strength enhancers on his arms and set out to the warehouse, but he arrived too late and the Special Forces team was decimated.
Kano, you're gonna pay for this.
From here on out, Jax wanted nothing more than to avenge his fallen soldiers and bring the Black Dragons to justice. Jax made his way through the warehouse and encountered low-level enforcers, clearly a distraction set up so the others could escape. But Kano was a man that did everything for his own benefit, leaving behind one of his own men to slow down Jax. The Black Dragon known as No-Face, a criminal obsessed with fire and physically burned all over his body. Jax killed No-Face and followed Kano's trail to the city's sewer system, where the Black Dragon had set up base, another area protected by one of Kano's escaped lieutenants, Tazia, an expert martial artist, ninja master, and skilled with swords. Even with all her abilities, Jax was too strong. With No-Face and Tazia out of the way, Jax was getting closer to finding Kano. The Black Dragon Jarek was hiding out somewhere in a downtown building that was one of the Black Dragon clan's many secret headquarters. And at the top, Jarek awaited, Kano's second in command. The battle with Jax was brutal, but ultimately Jax was victorious. He believed that Jarek had been killed, but the Black Dragon member recovered and escaped with his life. Jax found a map that Jarek was holding, leading to where Kano was potentially hiding. The map led to an ancient city hidden in ruins. Once Jax arrived, he knew he was on the right track. Black Dragon troops were aggressively protecting the area with high-powered weapons. In reality, the ruins held a portal Kano discovered leading to Outworld, and all of his henchmen were simple pawns only meant to slow down the Special Forces while he accessed the portal. And just outside the portal, Kano's final lieutenant, Tremor, was the final obstacle between Jax and Kano, a man that had the ability to control the ground around him. Jax explored this mysterious new dimension that, unknown to him, would someday become extremely familiar to him, and Kano was on the verge of finding the object of his obsession, a magical outworld crystal known as the Eye of Shitian. When used properly, it would give its user control over others and could create portals between realms, and Kano intended to use it for world domination.
Well, well, well. If it isn't that pesky Special Forces grunt, come to seek revenge for all his troops. I am quite impressed. You have managed to defeat all of my Black Dragon members. Pity. They were all looking forward to restarting our little gang. Little did they know they were only pawns to slow you down. And in that respect, they succeeded. You're too late, Jax. I have already reached the Eye of Shitian, and soon you will know its power. And, oh, delicious irony, you shall be the first to serve me.
The only thing I'm gonna serve you is a steel fist to your face, you delusional maniac. And after you get your pounding, I'm gonna haul your butt back to prison back home on Earth, where you won't have the aid of this overgrown light bulb. Sorry to burst your bubble, Kano, but the only thing you're gonna lord over is a porcelain throne in a 4x4 room. I know exactly what I'm gonna do with this thing.
With Kano defeated, Jax grabbed the crystal and used its power to open a portal back home. He delivered the crystal to Special Forces headquarters, where they began studying its secrets, ending the events of Mortal Kombat Special Forces. Just prior to the events of the original Mortal Kombat, Kano escaped from a Special Forces prison, and Jax, alongside Sonja and Special Forces, chased him. The ship leaving the Shang Tsung's island for the original Mortal Kombat tournament was on its way, and that was the ticket to Kano's escape. He fired back, refusing to go back to prison, and jumped on the ship. Sonja rushed onto the ship before Jax could follow her. During the original tournament, she sent a distress signal to Special Forces, but the island was a place of mystery between realms, and couldn't easily be located. After Liu Kang defeated Shang Tsung, the island crumbled, and Jax followed the distress signal to where it would have been. He found Johnny Cage floating by himself in the ocean and took him in, questioning where Sonja was. Johnny Cage told Jax about the events surrounding the first tournament, and Jax didn't believe a word of it, but he let Johnny Cage go. He continued to search for Sonja and realized Johnny Cage's story was true when he received a video distress call from her. Sonja and Kano had made their way into Outworld and were forced to work together and survive before they were captured by Shang Tsung in order to draw Earthrealm into a second tournament. Since Johnny Cage had experience dealing with Outworlders, Jax went to one of his movie sets to find him, and suddenly Cage was sent bursting through a wall. In order to spare his life, Shang Tsung had convinced Emperor Shao Kahn of Outworld that Earthrealm combatants could be lured there. The encounter led into a battle between the Shokan warrior Kintaro and Jax. Although Kintaro was massive, Jax had the reputation of being one of the strongest, most fearless men on Earth, and he held his own against the four-armed beast, until Kung Lao's razor-sharp hat put a stop to the battle. Raiden had arrived with the others and demanded that Shang Tsung cease. Shang Tsung laid out his terms, and Raiden agreed that his combatants would participate in a second tournament held in Outworld, leading to the events of Mortal Kombat 2. Jax would do anything to defend Earthrealm, but used the tournament in order to find Sonja and rescue her. During the tournament, Liu Kang challenged Shao Kahn and defeated him. In his Mortal Kombat 2 ending, Jax was able to successfully rescue Sonja, and also released Kano in order to take him back into custody. Together, they escaped Outworld through the dimensional portal leading back to Earthrealm, but just before leaving, Kano escaped his captors again. After he returned to Earthrealm, Jax and Sonja were now filled with the knowledge of how dangerous Outworld truly was to Earthrealm's safety, and they tried to warn their superiors that Earthrealm could possibly be invaded. Their warnings fell on deaf ears, and Jax outfitted his arms with his cybernetic enhancements in preparation for Shao Kahn's return. And Shao Kahn didn't take his loss lightly. He did exactly what Jax feared, and invaded Earthrealm with a massive army of his extermination squads. Shao Kahn absorbed the souls of Earthrealm's humans, becoming more powerful than ever, and the surviving combatants fought to protect what was left and stop him. Raiden's chosen warriors were protected from Shao Kahn's initial attack, and Jax helped in the defense of Earthrealm. Liu Kang once again defeated Shao Kahn, sending a broken and battered Emperor back into Outworld. In his ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and trilogy ending, Jax helps found the Outer World Investigation Agency. In addition to hunting down international criminal organizations, this branch of the Special Forces also focused on exploring and mapping other realms, assessing their threat levels and ensuring Earthrealm was protected from them. In order to gain access to other realms, the magic of the Eye of Shitian was used to power portal technology, and Jax was one of the first humans to explore other realms. After Shao Kahn's defeat prior to the events of Mortal Kombat 4 in Gold, Jax was responsible for supervising the exploratory division of the Outer World Investigation Agency, and Sonja was hunting down the remaining Black Dragons. They believed the last living member was Jarek, who Jax earlier had failed to take down, and Sonja chased after him. Jax notified her that strange interdimensional disturbances were being detected. In the realm of Edenia, the elder god of death Shinnok had been resurrected and began invading all the realms with his Netherrealm demon army. Earthrealm was also attacked, and Raiden recruited combatants to fight back against Shinnok and his right-hand sorcerer Quan Chi. Using the portal power technology, Sonja opened a gateway into Edenia and traveled there with the other combatants. Jarek had fled into Edenia, and she was hot on his trail. Jax hadn't heard from Sonja before leaving, and he followed her trail into the conflict as well. In Edenia, Jax and Sonja reunited and forced Jarek to work alongside them against Shinnok's forces in order order to ensure Earthrealm's survival. If Earthrealm was destroyed, the Black Dragon would have nothing to rule over. Liu Kang faced Shinnok in one-on-one combat and sent the God of Death plummeting back into the Netherrealm. After Shinnok's defeat, Jarek refused to turn himself over, and Sonja attempted to arrest him, but he resisted, dropping her off a mountainside.
The Black Dragon died with Kano. You're the last one, Jarek. Come in, Major Briggs. This is Lieutenant Sonja Blade. What?
Sonja, this is Major Briggs. Come in. Sonja, this is Jax. Are you there? Going somewhere, Jarek? Jax! I thought you were going to... Thought I was what? Dead? Like my partner you just tossed off the cliff? I'm sorry, Jax. Please, don't drop me. Wait, I promise. Too late, Jarek. You can't drop me. You have to uphold the law. You have to arrest me. Wait, this is brutality. You can't do it. Wrong, Jarek. This is not a brutality. This is a fatality.
Luckily, Sonja survived her fall hanging from the side of a cliff, and rejoined Jax, and together they discovered the Cyberlinquay assassin Cyrax malfunctioning. They took him back to the Outer World Investigation Agency, and were able to successfully restore his humanity. To thank them, Cyrax decided to become an agent of the Outer World Investigation Agency, and explored other realms for them. Peace came to the realms for a couple of years, until the evil sorcerer Quan Chi and Shang Tsung formed an alliance. During the events of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, they sought to resurrect the immortal army of the previous ruler of Outworld, Onaga the Dragon King, and use it to conquer the realms. Jax sent the blind swordsman Kenshi and Cyrax into Outworld to investigate, and Kenshi sent word back about the Deadly Alliance. But a high-ranking Red Dragon clan member, rivals of the Black Dragons, Su Hao, secretly infiltrated the Outer World Investigation Agency and gained their trust. He armed a miniature nuclear weapon and destroyed the entire facility and their technology. Jax survived the attack, but his means of interdimensional travel was destroyed, and he swore revenge on Su Hao. With the danger of the Deadly Alliance looming, Raiden gathered Earthrealm's combatants, including Jax, and Jax used the opportunity to hunt down Su Hao, who had allied himself with Quan Chi. In his Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance ending, Jax caught up to Su Hao and unleashed his vengeance.
Making good on his promise, Jax eventually caught up with Su Hao and ripped the implant from his chest in retribution. Su Hao died a most painful death.
After destroying Su Hao, Jax and his allies made a final stand against the combined might of the two sorcerers, but Jax was among the combatants killed in the confrontation when they were ambushed by Baraka's Tarkatan hordes, leaving Raiden to face them alone. Soon after, Onaga the Dragon King returned to claim his army and conquer all the realms. Quan Chi, Shang Tsung, and Raiden were forced to attack him with all their powers combined, but with all their might, Onaga still held strong. After surviving the attack, Onaga resurrected the defeated Earthrealm combatants and stripped away their free will, puppets that he now had control over. Jax was among those enslaved by the Dragon King, and unknowingly did the Dragon King's bidding. During the events of Mortal Kombat Deception, the spirit of Liu Kang, working together with Ermac, freed the Earthrealm combatants from Onaga's control and restored them to their former selves. Jax struggled with the memories of the horrible things he did under Onaga's control, and swore that Onaga would pay. Jax wasn't a playable character in Deception, but was added exclusively in the PSP version of the game, Mortal Kombat Unchained. In his non-canon Mortal Kombat Unchained ending, Jax released his anger on Onaga.
The Dragon King had defeated us all, save one, Jax. And though I had absorbed the fighting abilities of those who had aided me, I lacked the raw anger that propelled Jax into battle. Brutally pounding Onaga into submission, Jax finally ended the conflict by embedding a Kamidogu in the would-be ruler's head. Where he summoned so much rage from, I cannot say. I only hope that his anger is finally purged.
In the canon version of events, he never faced the Dragon King directly. Instead, the Dragon King was defeated by the warrior Shujinko. After Onaga's defeat, Jax returned to Earthrealm and restored the Outer World Investigation Agency. He climbed its ranks due to his successes and experience, and decided to permanently replace his biological arms with the cybernetic ones he'd been using for years, becoming an ultimate force of strength. In Earthrealm, the Cyberlin Quay Sector had formed his own clan of cybernetic assassins he called the Takunin, and they attracted the attention of special forces. Sonja called in an attack to bring down a Takunin warship, and Jax led a team of special forces troops to look for survivors, and was captured by the cybernetic warriors. Jax was taken alive, and Sector implanted a chip inside his brain in the hopes of controlling him, but Jax escaped before it could be activated. Afterwards, he prepared to help all of reality survive. During the events of Mortal Kombat Armageddon, the forces of light and forces of darkness clashed to defeat the elemental Blaze. All of reality was in danger of coming undone, and whoever defeated Blaze would claim its power to affect reality itself. And Jax joined his fellow combatants to stop the forces of evil from gaining such a terrible power. In his non-canon Mortal Kombat Armageddon ending, Jax defeated Blaze and took control over Sector's Takunin clan, after discovering the chip in his head.
When Jax absorbed the power of Blaze, the cybernetics in his arms grew and permeated his entire body. He was transformed into a full cyborg. He became aware of a controlling neural chip that had been implanted in his brain by Sector. Enraged, Jax defeated Sector and claimed leadership of the cyborg ninja clan, the Takunin. It is unknown if he will ever return to the Special Forces.
In the canon version of events, Jax, during the Battle of Armageddon, fought Quan Chi in the battlefield, until Shao Kahn unleashed his wrath. In the end, Jax died on the battlefield, impaled with a spear, and Shao Kahn defeated Blaze, absorbing its power for himself. All of reality was about to be destroyed, and Raiden was the final defender left. Using his godly powers, Raiden sent a message to himself, a warning back in time, to his younger self during the original tournament, and created an alternate timeline. A new chance to stop Shao Kahn's future victory. In this new Mortal Kombat 9 timeline, the original idea of Jax being the one that gets captured on Shang Tsung's island is revisited. This time, Jax had successfully infiltrated Shang Tsung's island but was discovered, and Shang Tsung kept him a prisoner, tortured in the bowels of the island's dungeon.
Oh my god. What did they do to you?
Run, girl. Run.
Miss Blade, you do not disappoint. I have been expecting you.
Let him go! We're not part of your tournament.
On the contrary, you are very much a contestant. You will face Sub-Zero of the Lin Kuei clan of assassins.
Sonja wins.
Jax, come on, we're out of here.
Jax was too wounded to leave on his own, and Sonja helped him escape after defeating Bi-Han Sub-Zero in combat. When she arrived outside, she called in the special forces for evac, but every obstacle was in their way to keep them from escaping. Jax and Sonja were combatants in the Mortal Kombat tournament, and Shang Tsung would not allow them to leave easily.
No! Damn you!
You have a challenger, Kano.
Sonja wins.
Kano is not your prisoner.
At least help Jax. He needs a medic. Bastard.
Sonja, you all right? Hey, looks like you found him. What's up, Sarge?
He's a... Hey, what are you doing?
It's okay. He's cool.
Jax!
Seriously, he's cool.
That's amazing.
Jax heard the stakes of the tournament and how important it was for Earthrealm to win, and Liu Kang rose to the top to challenge Shang Tsung, eventually defeating the evil sorcerer and ensuring Earthrealm's survival. Just like in the original timeline, Shang Tsung begged for his life, and Shao Kahn restored his youth, in return for Shang Tsung luring Earthrealm warriors into Outworld. Jax was present when Liu Kang was celebrated as the champion of Mortal Kombat, and helped defend the Wuxi Academy from Shang Tsung's Tarkatan hordes.
Not sure anybody could have done what he did. Made Shang Tsung look like a chump.
Here to congratulate us on our victory, sorcerer.
What? Shang Tsung?
You have been revitalized, I see. I didn't realize your master was in the habit of rewarding failure.
Jax was overwhelmed and attacked by the Tarkatans, and Sonya Blade was captured. Raiden agreed to the new tournament, and Jax also agreed to enter in order to rescue Sonya from Shang Tsung's clutches. Jax was in no mood to play games and ignored Raiden's pleas for restraint while he formed strategy, unintentionally becoming the first combatant to be thrust in the new tournament.
I expected Sonya Blade to be here with Shang Tsung.
She better not have a scratch on her.
Wait, this is a tournament!
Ah, the Earthrealm delegation has arrived. And we have a volunteer for first combat.
What? The tournament will begin!
Jackson Briggs, you will face Baraka!
Damn you, Gotcha! Oh yeah! Jax wins.
Where's Sonya?
Tell me, Major Briggs, do you and she do anything other than rescue one another?
Jax won his battles, and Raiden determined the location of Sonya. She was set to be executed, and Jax's temper was running short with Johnny Cage, constantly running his mouth during the tense situation.
Wish this damn tracking device worked in here.
This is just like my movie Time Smashers. We were going around and
Give it a rest, will ya? Making my ears hurt.
So what's the deal with you and Sonya anyway? She's smoking hot.
It's not like that. I'm her CO.
Honey like that under my command? Oh,
You'll want to stop talking now.
But if it's not like that, then you won't mind if I...
That's it! Time somebody shut you the hell up!
Enough! Jackson Briggs, you will restrain yourself.
Yeah, well,
Raiden took control of the situation, and Raiden located Sonya's accurate location near the Deadpool, a place of punishment and sacrifice filled with acid. Jax found Sonya tied up and being watched over by Shao Kahn's servant, Shiva.
She is the Emperor's property, human.
She's nobody's property. Yeah!
Jax wins.
You sure have a way with women.
You know me. I'm a class act.
Thanks. What took you so long?
He was busy hitting me in the face.
While exploring Outworld, Sonya and Jax ran into the younger brother of Sub-Zero, Kuai Liang, and gave him information on the killer of his older brother, Bi-Han. They unintentionally disturbed the monstrous Ermac's regeneration process, a being powered by hundreds of souls of warriors, a mistake that Jax would pay for with his arms.
Gotcha!
Stay with me, Jax. Sonya Blade to command, do you read? Sonja Blade to command. Do you read?
You have stopped the bleeding.
Yeah, but he needs a medic as soon as possible.
I must go to the Colosseum.
But I need your help to get
There's
him
a portal to the south. You can use it to transport yourselves back to Earthrealm.
Mother... That portal better be close.
Sub-Zero was able to subdue Ermac, and Sonja took Jax to the nearest portal, leading back to the Special Forces. Jax was bleeding quickly, and if he didn't get help immediately, he would bleed out. While they were gone, Liu Kang defeated Shao Kahn, and Jax was implanted with cybernetic arms to replace the limbs that he had lost, stronger than ever. Just like in the original timeline, Shao Kahn decided to invade Earthrealm directly, and Jax fought alongside his friends to defend his home. In his non-canon Mortal Kombat 9 ending, Jax defeated Shao Kahn and used a newly developed cyber scanner to bring peace to Earthrealm.
After the invasion was thwarted, many of Jax's allies had seemingly disappeared, leaving him to clean up the mess on his own. He searched for Shao Kahn's remaining forces, utilizing a new cyber scanner designed to remotely access worldwide databases. Navigating its virtual reality interface, Jax inadvertently accessed Kano's brain through his optical laser implant. Their minds linked, Jax virtually battled Kano. Finally, he captured and quarantined Kano's consciousness within the Special Forces mainframe. The dangerous criminal had finally been neutralized.
In the canon version of events, Jax and his fellow combatants strategized inside a chapel and were ambushed by the Cyber Lin Kuei and Shao Kahn's resurrected wife and Kitana's mother Sindel. The superpowered Sindel attacked the group and killed them, including Jax. To his horror, Raiden discovered that the Netherrealm sorcerer Quan Chi took the opportunity to resurrect the fallen warriors as revenants, undead Netherrealm servants loyal to Quan Chi and his master Shinnok. With most of the combatants as undead servants to the Netherrealm, Raiden was forced to battle Shao Kahn alone, defeating him and permanently sending this timeline on a different path. With Shao Kahn out of the way, Shinnok planned his own resurrection. After Shao Kahn's defeat, the Revenant Cyber Sub-Zero's programming was keeping him from fully falling under Quan Chi's control, and Quan Chi decided to tear his body apart and recreate his human form under his control. The Revenant Jax held him in place alongside Smoke while Quan Chi did his work. During the events of Mortal Kombat X, Shinnok launched his invasion of the realms with his demon army, and Special Forces soldiers struggled against the assault. In this new altered timeline, Johnny Cage and Sonja worked together in the Special Forces alongside the blind swordsman Kenshi and followed the trail of their old friends, and they came face to face with the Revenant Jax.
This is your last mission, son.
The real Jax wouldn't punch his best friend.
Johnny Cage, killing you will be a pleasure.
We're gonna fix you someday.
Johnny Cage took down Jax and promised that he would one day be restored. Working with Raiden and the Wind God Fujin, Johnny Cage successfully trapped Shinnok back inside his amulet prison, but the conflict wasn't over. Quan Chi and his Revenants escaped and became the top priority of the Special Forces. Jax was one of the Revenants protecting the sorcerer, and he fought relentlessly to keep his master safe.
Quan Chi, you've lost.
A delay, Miss Blade. The inevitable still beckons.
Johnny!
You won't be dead for long.
With Quan Chi's defeat, his connection to these Revenants was disrupted, and they were free. Jax was restored to his former self, free to live as he pleased. Years passed, and the memories of what he did under Quan Chi's control haunted him, and he fell into despair. But Jax was brought back by a woman named Vera while he was recovering, a close friend of Sonja Blade. Eventually, Jax and Vera fell in love, built a life together, and had a daughter named Jackie Briggs. After being a Revenant of Quan Chi and having a daughter to live for, Jax retired from the Special Forces and decided to live a quiet life of peace on a farm, a much-deserved rest. But fate determined that Jax still had a role to play in Earthrealm's protection. After Shinnok's defeat, Raiden and the Elder Gods banished his amulet prison away in a dark dimension that was locked by the Kamidogu, a collection of daggers using blood magic to bind Shinnok's prison, one for each realm. During the events of the Mortal Kombat X comic prequel, a plot was formed by a cleric from the Chaos Realm called Havoc to corrupt the Kamidogu and use them to release Shinnok's amulet for his own selfish interests. And he manipulated one of Shao Kahn's ex-generals, the warlord Rico, to collect all the daggers. Raiden spread the daggers to different locations to keep them safe, and the Kamidogu of Earthrealm was placed under the protection of Jax. Rico eventually tracked the dagger down to Jax's farm and demanded that Jax hand it over, threatening the life of his daughter. The strong-willed Jax was enraged that Rico would dare threaten Jackie and attacked him, but Rico threw him through his window with his wife inside. He told Vera to run, and Rico reiterated that he simply wanted the dagger. Once he had it, he would leave. The defiant Jax still refused, and Rico rammed him through the wall, this time grabbing Vera by the throat. If Jax wouldn't hand the dagger over, Rico would kill his wife and his daughter. Jax's family was his reason to live, his everything, and with no choice left, he gave in and handed the dagger over. Soon after, Raiden appeared to ensure the dagger's safety, and Vera met him outside, informing him of what happened. Jax was unconscious from the several painkillers he took after the attack, and Raiden feared that Rico's plans were coming to fruition. Jackie had been captured alongside Cassie Cage, Johnny and Sonja's daughter, and they were already being searched for. And Rico succeeded in collecting the daggers. He was fooled by Havoc, and the daggers ultimately caused his destruction, and Shinnok's amulet had returned. But Hanzo Asashi defeated Havoc, decapitating him and leaving his head in the Netherrealm. In the end, Jackie was returned safely to her father, and he promised that he would teach her how to defend herself in case his family were ever to put in harm's way again. But against his wishes, Jackie joined the Special Forces with Cassie Cage, leaving Jax to constantly worry about his daughter's safety. During the events of Mortal Kombat X, Mileena gained Shinnok's amulet in Outworld, and Quan Chi's location was uncovered, and Sonja Blade requested the help of her old friend.
Is that a national? I haven't seen one this...
You didn't come here to discuss farm implements.
All right. I'll cut to the chase. I need your help.
My help?
I know. I don't have any right to...
You knew what I wanted.
Jackie volunteered. She came to me.
I know.
Listen, I get why you didn't want Jackie joining SF. Why you retired. I mean, if I had to live with memories of being one of Quan Chi's thugs, I would have eaten a gun a long time ago.
Well, you know Vera. She never would have allowed that. So what is it you need help with? The Outworld refugees?
Worse. Shinnok's amulet. Mileena has it.
Damn.
And we've gotten word from Serena that Quan Chi has resurfaced in the Netherrealm.
He shows his face after 25 years, just as Shinnok's amulet is in play. That's not a coincidence.
That's why I need you. Your Quan Chi expertise.
Jax agreed to join in on one final Special Forces mission, mainly as a consultant and guide. Since he was a Revenant, he was experienced with the Netherrealm and was determined to bring Quan Chi to justice once and for all. Quan Chi was located and the Special Forces unleashed a surprise assault. His Revenants protected him, and Jax took the capture of Quan Chi into his own hands, forced to face his previous fellow Revenants and master.
Do not interfere, Jackson Briggs. Go back into hiding.
Hiding? Guess I have been.
Welcome home, Jackson Briggs.
This hell is not my home.
Then why be fool enough to return?
I got a family to protect.
Quan Chi reunited me with my family. He will do the same for you.
Plenty where that came from. I don't understand, Katana. I mean, I hate the things I did here, but you enjoy being a Revenant.
It suits me. I am a victim no longer.
I gotta believe there's hope for you.
Jackson Briggs. A pleasant surprise.
Nothing pleasant about it.
So you return to Raiden? The fools follow fools.
Jax, there is no need.
Just stop it. It's good to be back. Kenshi, I got him.
Excellent work.
Thanks to Jax, Quan Chi was taken into custody, and Hanzo Sashi raided the Special Forces base to destroy him, and avenge his own family and clan. With Quan Chi's death, Shinnok was released from his amulet and began the process of destroying Earthrealm's life force. In his non-canon Mortal Kombat X ending, Jax defeated Shinnok and filled in for Johnny Cage in the Special Forces while he recovered from injuries.
After Shinnok's fall, the hospitalized Johnny Cage asked Jax to fill in as leader of his squad. Jax agreed. It was a chance to spend time with and protect Jackie. Boarding their transport after a routine mission, Jax's greatest fears were realized as the mercenary Aaron Black sprung from the cargo bay and fired on the young heroes. Fortunately for Jackie and company, Jax's quick reflexes and bulletproof arms deflected the assassin's rounds. Jax quickly subdued Black, then slipped into shock as a red stain engulfed his chest.
In the canon version of events, Jax simply returned to his life on the farm, and Cassie Cage ended the threat of Shinnok, ending the events of Mortal Kombat X. The remaining Revenants returned to the Netherrealm under the command of the Revenant Liu Kang. During the events of Mortal Kombat 11, Shinnok's mother Kronika, a titan older than the gods and responsible for the flow of time, decided to erase the current timeline and restart her own new era devoid of Raiden and Liu Kang. Her manipulation of time resulted with past and present merging, and warriors from the past returning, including Earthrealm enemies that she recruited to defend her while she worked. Prior to the events of Mortal Kombat 11, Jackie Briggs continued her work with the Special Forces, and sadly her mother Vera passed away, as of yet unexplained reasons. Jax fell into despair and lost control of his life. He spent his days sulking at home alone, drinking his days away, until he slipped into unconsciousness, and constantly worried about Jackie's safety, a life he would give anything to change. And Kronika took advantage of his vulnerable state, offering him false promises for his loyalty.
Come on. Come on.
Jackson Briggs. Do not fear. I have come to offer you a new life. A better life.
That's awfully generous, seeing as we never met.
We have not met. But I know you. How valiantly you have served. How horribly you have suffered. That was not my plan for you.
Your plan?
You were to retire distinguished, not in disgrace. Years from now, General Jackson Briggs. More importantly, your daughter was not to serve, nor endure the same tragedies you have. Your home should be filled with grandchildren. Help me, and it will be.
But this time now had two Jaxes. The time merger also brought back a much younger Jax just after receiving his cybernetic arms, and he learned what his future held for him.
Man, these arms are an upgrade. It'll be payback time next time I see Ermac.
Oh, I made sure he got his.
I imagine future me is out kicking ass with these right now.
Cassie told you that future you spent time as a Revenant, yeah?
Sounded horrible. Can't imagine becoming Shinnok's puppet. But she says I come back from it.
The experience haunted Dad. But then you, met Mom. She brought you back to life.
The love of a good woman. Like the sound of that.
She was Dad's everything. She died last year. Ever since Dad stayed on the farm, he feels safer there.
The younger Jax worked together with his future daughter, traveling in order to stop Kronika from fulfilling her plans. They traveled together to Shang Tsung's island to recover Kronika's crown, a tool she needed to operate her hourglass of time, which fed off the souls consumed by Shang Tsung. This Jax was a Jax filled with hope. The hope that the future could be changed without losing anything in the process.
I got tossed into the deep end of this world of gods and monsters. But now, knowing my future, I feel like I finally come up for air. Those bad things that happened to me, will happen to me. Like Raiden said, it's gonna be different. Isn't this good news?
The things that happened to my dad, that trauma he suffered, it's why my parents met. They fell in love while he was in recovery. If they don't happen, you and Mom may not meet. I may never be born.
Jackie, I can't pretend I get all this cosmic time stuff. But I do know you are here for a reason. You're not just some random accident.
I hope so. Multiple contacts.
How many?
2, but one of them's circling us real fast.
Give me 10 seconds with this guy.
Jax Briggs, we were partners under Quan Chi's command. You'll join me again.
Got the wrong Jax. Times are changing, Cabal.
Disturb Kronika's work.
Disturb. Try ending.
You're done messing with the Well of Souls.
You're not as strong as you think, Jax. As I recall, Sindel made quick work.
Was a time when you knew to fight for. But between Quan Chi and Kronika, your mind ain't right.
I joined Raiden against Shao Kahn. He led me to my doom. Now Raiden leads you there, too.
Time's up, punk. I'll take my chances with Raiden.
After defeating Cabal and Jade, the father and daughter pair traveled deep into Goro's lair, where Jax was kept and tortured when he was there during the first tournament. Memories that haunted even the younger Jax.
Shang Tsung kept me locked up here, back at my first tournament. Never thought I'd be back.
I'm guessing this is it.
That crown. $5 says it's Kronicus.
It's drawing souls from the well.
There's no way that thing's unguarded. Let's grab and go before whoever is on duty gets back.
I never left.
First Sub-Zero. Scorpion ripped out his spine. Left it in a heap upstairs in Shang Tsung's old throne room.
An event the new era will wipe from history.
Come on, let's get that thing and get out of here.
After Noob Saibot's defeat, Jax and Jackie approached Kronicus' crown. The mission was about to be a success, and the older Jax's betrayal was revealed. Kronika had upgraded his cybernetics and manipulated him into helping her, something that brought him into conflict with his younger self.
What are you doing?
Giving you the life you deserve. By destroying the universe? Restarting it, not destroying it. Being a Revenant, the years I lost, the things I did. Your ma held me together, but I was never the father you needed. You're talking nonsense, man. You raised a fine daughter. She's one hell of a soldier. She shouldn't have been a soldier. I never wanted you out there, taking those risks. If I hadn't fallen apart, you wouldn't have felt the need to enlist.
That's not why I do this, Dad.
Please! Give that crown to me. I don't want to hurt anybody.
This is seriously messed up.
Hang back, kid. I know I wouldn't want to fight my dad. How about we keep this between me, myself, and I? Never thought I'd stoop so low. You don't know how bad it gets. Losing your arms was just the beginning. I know you suffered. You still do. But you don't betray your unit. And you sure as hell don't betray your family. Thanks. There's gotta be a way to make this right.
He's out, but he'll recover. How are you?
Tripping. You?
Ditto. We can't leave him. Let's get him and the crown out of here.
Jax knocked his future self out and swore he would never go down that same path. The mission was over. They had the crown and had to leave before Kronika's minions learned of their victory. They took older Jax with them, but it was too late for them to escape. The elder god of life, Cetrion, Shinnok's sister, and Kronika's daughter appeared to stop them, and they were forced to use the crown in order to survive.
Can we take an elder god?
Cassie beat Shinnok.
Only because the cages are born with crazy magic powers.
Maybe we have our own magic.
Stand down, please.
I can't let you do—
I'm not discussing it.
you doing?
Give me the crown, and I will spare her.
Don't! Don't give it to her! Go!
Her life is in your hands.
Nobody here wants to hurt anyone. Now please, don't let this happen to our girl. Damn it. Now bring Jackie back.
Dad! How could you do this to me?
I'm not doing this to you, Jackie. I'm doing it for you. I love you. Come on. This fight isn't over.
Jackie was able to hold off Cetrion, but the battle was lost. Kronika had her crown, and the elder Jax returned to Kronika victorious, but heartbroken. He had fought against his daughter's efforts, he was surrounded by his previous enemies, and now stood alongside them. Doubts were beginning to form in his mind. On the way to Kronika's fortress and the final assault, Raiden's forces crossed the Sea of Blood to arrive, an ocean of blood with no bottom, and Jax hesitantly stood against his friends in a final stand, in order to repair his life. He didn't want to face Raiden, but he believed that he had no choice.
I don't want to fight, but I've got to. For Jackie's sake and mine.
Let me help you. Kronika's promises to you are a cruel deception. She is the mother of Shinnok, the architect of your Revenant enslavement.
But... no. She's Cetrion's mother.
Cetrion is Shinnok's sister. In Kronika's new era, Shinnok will be the darkness to balance Cetrion's light.
Which will only happen if the realms keep on fighting each other. What have I done? I'm a fool.
It is not foolish to fight for your family's betterment.
I'm sorry, Raiden. I promise to make this right.
Jax had no idea Kronika was related to Shinnok, the god responsible for all the years of horrible things he was forced to do. She had purposely kept that fact from him, and finally Jax realized he had been manipulated. Never again would he betray his friends.
Candy-ass bitch.
In his non-canon Mortal Kombat 11 ending, Jax defeated Kronika and took control of time for himself. With his newfound power, he decided to not just repair his life, instead he corrected the wrongs of history and created a better world for everyone.
All I wanted was to fix my life. Now I have the power to fix history. Raiden warns me, I can't fix everything. Change too much and I could lose Vera. Lose Jackie. But this power is bigger than us. If I think only about helping myself, what kind of officer am I? What kind of man? I've been lucky. My family and I have lived the American dream. But most people who look like me haven't had that chance. I owe it to them to put things right. And I'm not waiting centuries for people to get woke, when I've got the power to speed things up. I don't get it right the first time, or the second, or even the third, but eventually, I knock it out of the damn park. My family's back. The world's a better place for everyone. Turns out, you can have everything. Anyone who says you can't needs to dream bigger.
In the canon version of events, Jax never faced Kronika in combat, but he did participate in the final assault on Kronika's fortress alongside his daughter and his younger self.
This mean you're back?
This means I'm sorry, Jackie. And hell yeah, I'm back.
In the final battle against Kronika, Liu Kang, now ascended to godhood, destroyed her and took control of her hourglass, but her crown was destroyed in the final battle. Without her crown intact, time would not be able to be fixed. And an old enemy appeared, Shang Tsung, alongside Nightwolf and Fujin. They were previously sent into a void by Kronika for refusing to ally themselves with her, and Shang Tsung explained the need for the crown. Liu Kang sent them back into the timeline to retrieve it, and the treacherous Shang Tsung had plans of his own, so Fujin and Nightwolf accompanied him to supervise and assist. The group traveled to Shang Tsung's island to just before the younger Jax and Jackie arrived to claim Kronika's crown. This time Fujin and Shang Tsung faced the elder Jax, and Jax was itching to get his revenge on Shang Tsung for having him tortured in his dungeon.
Do me a favor, Fujin, and take one giant step back.
You too, sorcerer.
Makes sense we'd meet again down here. When you caged me up, beat me within an inch of my life. The hell if I ain't gonna return the favor.
Always so generous.
Damn it, Fujin. You know what I've suffered. Kronika's my one chance to prevent all that. Not just for me, but for Jackie, for Vera. Shit. You're a god. Ain't no way you get how this feels.
You know the only time Raiden and I ever fought? When I left the Sky Temple to live among humans. Do not become attached to them, Fujin. Sentiment will impede the execution of your duty. But warriors like you and I, we are strengthened by sentiment. We do not fight to kill enemies. We fight to protect our loved ones. That is why it cuts so deeply when we fail.
Well, I'll be. Maybe you do get it.
Kronika knows your pain. She manipulates you with it. Jacqueline is on her way here. Kronika expects you to fight her. Worse even, break her heart. Is that someone who cares one whit about you or your family?
Fujin, although a god, completely understood the plight of humans and the pain that Jax was feeling. In this rewrite of history, Fujin helped Jax realize that he was being manipulated much earlier than before. Soon after, Cetrion arrived to protect the crown, and Jax watched as the group was able to ward her away back to her mother. Jackie and the younger Jax arrived as history predicted, this time with a group of special forces, and were surprised to see the older Jax there.
Hands over your head, Shang Tsung.
You too, Sindel. That hair so much as twitches.
Ease up, baby girl.
Dad? How did you get here?
We're all on the same side against Kronika.
Yes. And now we must bring this to Raiden.
Is that a crown?
Just like before, the two Jaxes fought in the final confrontation. The last time Jax was seen, he was knocked unconscious when Shang Tsung revealed his betrayal and threw Raiden against him. In the end, a new era was created, and Jax's future is yet to be revealed. Will Jax go through the same trials, tragedies, and tribulations that shaped his life, or will he finally be able to retire a decorated soldier with his family beside him? Since you made it to the end of this video, I assume you enjoyed it, so why don't you go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new content. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, links in the description below, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can join my Patreon or become a channel member. This is Fabian, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.